Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kaya Chaksurmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Precharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we welcome everyone to our ongoing session of studying Śrī Īśopaniṣad. Yesterday, we spoke about some of the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Particularly, we were hearing about how the Lord is Shuddham, Apavidam, Shuddham, Apapavidam, Shuddham, Apapavidam, right? Who knows the meaning? What is the meaning of Shuddham?
Antiseptic, Maharaj.
Okay, antiseptic. And then apapavidam means?
Prophylactic.
Okay. Can you explain to me now how the Lord is antiseptic and prophylactic?
Yes, Maharaj. Antiseptic is antiseptic in the sense that even an impure thing can become purified just by touching the Lord.
Right. Something impure can be purified. Antiseptic. You have some infection, you put some antiseptic on it. That will cure the disease, right? So something is contaminated, something dirty, something impure, but the Lord can purify it. He can correct it. And prophylactic, then?
Refers to the power of his association, Maharaj.
Yes, the power of his association. That even something which may be wrong, it becomes all right because it's Krishna. Because Krishna is prophylactic. So his dancing with the young girls is prophylactic. It's not, there's no degradation in it. Because he's the Lord. So even, you know, Krishna does so many tricks. He does things like he steals the butter and he left the battlefield. But all of these things, these are his good qualities. He's glorified for that. And so he's not degraded by it because he's prophylactic. Whatever he does, it's all right. It's corrected because he's the Lord himself. So whatever he does is transcendental. So he has so many wonderful qualities. So this is his nature, that he can kill the demons. When you kill the demons get liberated. By his killing them, they get liberated. So that's a blessing for the demons when Krishna comes and kills them. Everyone who died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they got liberated because they were dying in the presence of Krishna. So this is Krishna's wonderful qualities. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, surrender to me, I will free you from all sinful activities. Do not fear. So we take shelter of Krishna, by association of Krishna, we become purified. We get delivered. So Krishna is unembodied. Who can, Sachinandan, can you explain to me the meaning of unembodied? Krishna is unembodied.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Krishna can see. Krishna can see through his mouth. He can taste using his eyes. He's not limited. His one sense can do the duty of the other sense.
That's omnipotent. That's describing his omnipotency, omnipotency. But I want to know how he is unembodied. No, we'll ask who knows. Let me see who.
Krishna, Maharaj, I would like to try.
Mary, you want to try?
Yeah, unembodied, is it without material body? That means there's no difference between his body and soul?
Right. He has a body, but it's not a material body, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he has a spirit, and with the spiritual body is all spiritual. So there's no difference between the body and the soul and the mind. It's all spiritual. In our body, there's a difference between the soul and the mind and the body. But for Krishna, it's all the same. It's all spiritual. The body, the mind, soul, no difference, right? So he has a body, but he doesn't have a material body. He has a spiritual body. So he's unembodied, not like we're embodied. We're in a material body. But Krishna has his own spiritual body. Okay? What about, we spoke earlier also about Ekat Vam Anupashyata. Who remembers the meaning of that? Ekat Vam Anupashyata means?
Maharaj, I would like to try. Is it mean?
Is it what?
Is it mean we are one in quality but different in quantity with the Lord? Like
Yeah,
oneness?
Yeah, we have a relationship with the Lord. We're one in quality with the Lord, right? We're his parts and parcels. One in quality, different in quantity. Okay? So thank you very much. So we'll go ahead. Let me see. Can everyone see this?
Yes, Maharaj. Very clear, Maharaj.
Okay, good. Who would like to read for us, chant the Sanskrit?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj, I read Maharaj.
Okay.
Andam tama pravishanti.
Andantamaha
Ye avidyam upasate.
Ye Ayamupasate
So bhuya ivate tamo.
Tato
Yeyo vidya ayam rataha.
Yao Vidyayam Rata. Okay, someone else chant?
Can I try, Maharaj?
Yeah, please.
Mandam tamaha pravishanti.
Andantamaha
Pravishanti.
Evidyam upasate.
Ye Vidyayam
Upasate.
Tato bhuya ivate tamo.
Tato
Bhuyayavate tamo.
Yayu vidyayam rataha.
Ya
Vidyayam rataha.
Okay, someone else? One more, Chen?
Andam tama pravishanti.
Pravishanti.
Ye avidyam upasate.
Ye Vidyamupasate.
Tato bhuya ivate tamo.
Tato Bhuyayavate tamo.
Yahu vidyayam rataha.
Yayu Vidyayam rataha.
Okay, would you like to read Mataji, the lady who just chanted?
Okay,
Who
Maharaj.
is it? What's your name?
Nandini.
Nantini. Okay, Nantini, chant.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vighna Swami Srila Prabhupada. Those who engage in the culture of Nissan activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. First, still those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge.
Okay, what's nation activities? What does that mean? The culture
In
of,
ignorance, without Krishna
Yeah.
consciousness,
yeah. Yeah. Anything else you could describe? How to describe it? Nation? What it mentions it like enter into dark. We're still the culture of so-called knowledge. So there's so-called knowledge, and this is the culture of nations, nation activities. So nation activities means no knowledge, means ignorance. People who are just ignorant, uneducated, don't know anything. Right? So the verse is saying, people who are cultivating, who are ignorant, don't know anything, they enter into darkest region of ignorance. But the ones who have got so-called knowledge, they're even worse. Worse still are those engaged because they're in the culture. They're trying to get more of the so-called knowledge. Meaning so-called knowledge means not real knowledge. Bogus knowledge, the wrong knowledge, not real, not genuine knowledge. So they're even worse off than the people who are just ignorant, who just don't know anything. Okay, Nantini, go ahead, read the purport.
this mantra offers a comparative study of Vidya and Avidya. Avidya, or ignorance, is undoubtedly dangerous, but Vidya, or knowledge, is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. This mantra of Śrī Īśopaniṣad is more applicable today than at any time in the past. Modern civilization has advanced considerably in the field of mass education, but the result is that people are more unhappy than ever because of the stress placed on material advancement to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect.
Okay, thank you. So Prabhupada saying two kinds of studies, the study of Vidya and the study of Avidya, right? Vidya. Now, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Raja Vidya. Raja Vidya, meaning king of knowledge. And here we have Vidya and Avidya. So Avidya is ignorance. So Prabhupada said it is dangerous, but Vidya even more dangerous. Of course, this Vidya, the one which is more this is not the Vidya from the Bhagavad Gita. This is a so-called Vidya, the so-called knowledge, more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. So it could be the real knowledge, but when it's mistaken or misguided, that's the problem. So this mantra of Śrī Īśopaniṣad, more applicable today than at any time in the past. Civilization has advanced, mass education. So many people get education, all going to college and getting degrees. And, you know, everybody well educated, speak very nicely. Obviously, you're well educated, but the result is people are more unhappy than ever before. Isn't it true? The modern life, did it make us more happy than people were before?
No.
Does it mean because we're living in a big city and because you're driving a car, does it mean you're more happy than you were before when you were living in maybe where we were living on the plantation or something like that, and you know, or living some village somewhere and just in the village life, very simple natural life? Does it mean we're more happier now because you have a lot of makeup and you have money and you have your credit card and so many things? Does it mean we're happier? No, we're more unhappy than ever. Why? Because of the stress placed on material advancement. And we've forgotten the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect. So this is the problem. We're simply thinking only about material things, material advancement. We want bigger car, we want more expensive car, we want everything more expensive. We should have more money, we should have more power. We want to go traveling to many countries, visit the foreign countries everywhere. So this is a material advancement. But the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect, to take care of the soul. We spend all the time taking care of the body. We've forgotten about the soul. So this is the problem. Okay, we need somebody to read the next paragraph. Who's there to read next?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, can I read?
Okay, what's your name?
Tanusha.
Tanusha, yes, Tanusha, please read.
As far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra has explained very clearly that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything and that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. The more a man forgets his fact of life, the more he is in darkness. In view of this, a godless civilization directed towards the so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of the people are less educated.
Thank you. So the first mantra, have you memorized it yet, Tanusha? Did you memorize it?
A bit, Maharaj.
Go ahead, try and say it. Let me hear you say. Isavashim.
Ishavasham idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita makrada kasya sviddanam.
Oh yes, very good. Yeah, you've memorized it. And do you know the translation?
Translation is everything animate or
I don't want you. I don't want you to read it. I want you to say it without looking at the book, right?
Okay, wait.
I know you read very well, but I want to test your memory.
Okay, everything that is created by the Lord is controlled by Him.
Yeah.
And then controlled by Him, and then that's all I remember for now, Maharaj.
Yeah. Okay. Everything animate and inanimate within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord, right? One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself and should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Right? Krishna was speaking, take our quota. Don't take more than what we need. Remember? Tanusha, you there?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So that was the first part is saying Krishna is the proprietor, and the second part said, just take what you need. Don't take more than you're supposed to have. Right?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
Okay. So here, the Prabhupada is just referring to the first part, that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything. But forgetfulness of that fact is ignorance. When we forget Krishna is the proprietor, who do we think is the proprietor?
Maya.
Yeah, we're thinking we're the proprietor, right?
Yes.
We're thinking it's mine.
Yes.
We're thinking, you know, the man thinks this woman is mine, and the woman thinks this man is mine. You know, we're both thinking I'm the proprietor. The woman is thinking the man is mine. The man is thinking the woman is mine. Who is actually the proprietor? Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. So when we forget that, that is the ignorance or the Maya. The more a man forgets this fact, the more he is in darkness. In view of this, a godless civilization directed towards so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than the civilization where the masses of people are not so educated. So, Prabhupada is saying, better the people are not educated, because when they get the education, if they are godless, it makes a big problem. If they don't believe in God, if they're atheistic, then it's a big problem for the whole world, right? You go ahead, Tanusha, you read the next paragraph.
Okay, of the different classes of men, karmis, jnanis and yogis, the karmis are those who are engaged in the activities of sense gratification. In the modern civilization, 99.9% of the people are engaged in the activities of sense gratification under the flags of the industrialism, economic development, altruism, political activism, and so on. All these activities are more or less based on satisfaction of the senses, to the exclusion of the kind of God consciousness described in the first mantra.
Okay, so different classes of men: karmis, jnanis, and yogis. Right? The karmi is the fruitive worker. Right? He's working for sense gratification. He wants to enjoy life. We were talking the other day, some people think you only live once, so just enjoy yourself. You know, work and enjoy. You work and make money and go and enjoy yourself, right? That's what people say. So Prabhupada said 99.9% are doing that. They're trying to get sense gratification in different ways. They have different methods of getting sense gratification. Some people get it through industry. They make some industry, build some big industry. Some people do it economic development, make more money for themselves. Economic development, it just means more sense gratification. Altruism. Altruism means you're working for others' benefit. You're thinking about doing good for other people, like that. Welfare is work. It's one kind of welfare work, you see. Altruism. And political activism. Politics. My party knows how to lead the nation, how to solve all the problems in the nation. You know, politicians, they're very good in giving promises. If you vote for my party, I promise you our country will have full employment and you'll make a lot of money and you'll live very happily and we'll build nice houses for you and we'll keep the country very peaceful. And oh, they give so many promises. This is politics. So all these activities are all based on just pleasing the body, the senses. But there's no thought about God consciousness. There's no thought about God being the proprietor. They're thinking, no, it belongs to me, or it belongs to my community, or it belongs to my country, belongs to my party. Like that. This is it, they're thinking. So these three different kinds of people, they're all engaged in sense gratification. Not only the karmi is, of course, he's the most people are karmis. There's many more karmis than there are jnanis and yogis. You know, yogis, not very many, right? And jnanis, so they're the ones who've given up trying to enjoy the material life. The jnani is renounced. He's just trying to get liberation. His goal is to get moksha, to get liberation, free from the material world. But the karmi, he's thinking he wants to enjoy the material world. So the karmi, he's trying to enjoy the material world. The jnani, he's trying to renounce the material world. And the yogi, he wants to get mystic powers. He wants to become like a god himself. He wants to control the material world. So none of them are peaceful because they all want sense gratification. Only the devotee is actually peaceful because the devotee, he doesn't have any material desire. Is this clear to everybody? Any questions?
Maharaj, one question.
Yeah. Yes.
Maharaj, can we consider like Hiranyakasipu, Ravana, and all this? They are also after sense gratification, after doing so much of austerities and tapasya and all that, Maharaj.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All those big demons, they're all interested in sense gratification. Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, they all want to control the material world. They want to enjoy. Hiranyakashipu, his name means, you know, Hiranya means gold and Kashipu means a soft bed. So this was his thinking in life. He wants to enjoy money and the soft bed and sleep. The Jnani, his enjoyment comes in going away from the world, in just giving up the material. He's thinking about liberation though. He wants to get free of the material world. He wants liberation. The yogi, he wants some kind of mystic power. Yogis, they can get mystic powers. They can become very small, or they can become very big. They can go against the laws of nature. So this is all sense gratification. And because they want sense gratification, they can never be peaceful. Jolene, is that all right?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Maharaj, also one more question, Maharaj. How do we consider Dhruva Maharaj? Because he did austerity to gain something like his father, to become a king or something like that. And then at the end, he became like a devotee. He didn't want that, and he wanted to become a devotee and go back to God.
Okay. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes 4 kinds of people who surrender to him. And one of those people who are in search of wealth. So Dhruva Maharaj was in search of a kingdom. That's like, you know, wanting wealth. So, but still, he had a lot of piety. He did a lot of pious activities to get that. He had a lot of sukriti. We would call sukriti, means pious activities. So he wanted, in the beginning, he wanted to get a kingdom. But after he did all his austerities and penances, then he overcame that desire and he just wanted devotional service. So in the beginning, he had some material desires. It wasn't pure devotion, but he became pure.
Hare Krishna
Yes.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes.
Yes, I am just wondering. I do not know how to classify a person who likes to engage himself in dark magic. Does he comes under the karmis or the yogis?
He does black magic?
Yeah. You know, putting spell on people. Do they come under karmis or yogis?
Yeah, they're tantrics actually. They're called tantrics.
Oh, I see.
People who use black magic, they have a special name. They're called tantrics.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Tantrics, Tantrics.
Yes. They do tantra yoga, use the mantras to do these kind of things.
Ah, okay.
So it's material, it's not spiritual, of course. And so material things, it's all done for some sense gratification.
That's why I was thinking whether people who engage themselves in tantrics are getting focused on vidya, knowledge even more dangerous when misguided.
Yes, right. More dangerous. Okay, we'll go ahead. Jolene, you can read this next paragraph in the language Bhagavad Gita.
In the language of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 15, people who are engaged in gross sense gratification are mudas or asses. The ass is a symbol of stupidity. those who simply engage in the profitless pursuit of sense gratification are worshipping avidya, according to Śrī Īśopaniṣad. And those who play the role of helping this sort of civilization in the name of educational advancement are actually doing more harm than those who are on the platform of gross sense gratification. The advancement of learning by a godless people is as dangerous as a valuable jewel on the hood of a cobra. A cobra decorated with a valuable jewel is more dangerous than one not decorated. In the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, the advancement of education by a godless people is compared to decorations on a dead body. In India, as in many other countries, some people follow the customs of leading a procession with a decorated dead body for the pleasure of the lamenting relatives. In the same way, modern civilization is a patchwork of activities meant to cover the perpetual miseries of material existence. All such activities are aimed towards sense gratification, but above the senses in the mind, and above the mind is the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul. Thus, the aim of real education should be self-realization, realization of the spiritual values of the soul. Any education which does not lead to such realization must be considered avidya or nescience. And to culture such nescience means to go down to the darkest region of ignorance. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you very much. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us here about the modern society, how we're so much concerned with sense gratification. We try to cover up the suffering which is there in the material world. You know, we try to pretend, oh, it's not really happening, or don't worry about it, it will go away soon, it should be over. You know, like now we're suffering from this virus. So we say, oh, it's okay, just wait for a little while, it will soon go away, it will soon be over. But we don't know. We see the miseries of material life will certainly still be here, right? What are the miseries of life? Do you know, Jolene? What are the miseries of material life? Which are there for everyone and have been there all the time?
A desire that is unfulfilled?
No, not exactly that. I was thinking the miseries of material life mean old age, disease, death. These things, this is the misery of life, you know. This is a real problem which is there for everyone. That we're all everyone is aging, and we're going to suffer disease, and we know we have to die, right? So this is the problem. So Srila Prabhupada gives a very strong message here. He talks about this desire for sense gratification is making us into people engaged in sense gratification. They become like donkeys. They become very foolish. That just for the sake of sense gratification, we will cultivate so much ignorance. The name of educational advancement does us more harm than good. And he said, just like you put a jewel on the head of a cobra, it's more dangerous than if there's no jewel, right? Because when there's a jewel on the head of the cobra, we're all attracted by the jewel. We want to see that jewel. We want to get it even if we can. But if there's no jewel on the head of the cobra, oh, you just go away, just leave it. Oh, it's a cobra, get away from here, quick, you know, chase it away, or go away, run away. But when the jewel is there, oh, it's got a jewel, maybe we can get the jewel. So modern civilization is like that. Educational advancement has done us more harm than good, because we've become so attracted by that education. We're thinking it's so important, but the real education is lacking. And the real education is to understand that there's a God behind this world, and that we're meant to be his servants. This is a problem. This is lacking. So then Prabhupada goes on talking about the advancement of education. It's like decorating a dead body. Now, when the body's dead, does it do any good to decorate it? Who cares? The body's dead. Well, who cares if it's decorated or not? We want to decorate the body for the pleasure of the relatives. Oh, he looks so nice, right? Before the cremation. Oh, he or she looked very nice. Her face was all decorated with makeup and lipstick and everything. But they're going to burn their body. What's the point? So modern civilization is like that. It's a patchwork of activities. We try to cover up the miseries, to cover up the inevitable facts of life, that there is old age, there is disease, there is death. But we're only thinking about sense gratification. So then Prabhupada gives us this hierarchy. All activities are based on the senses. Above the senses is the mind, and above the mind is intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul. So the real aim of education should be to understand the values of the soul, to realize the spiritual value of the soul. Self-realization, knowing ourselves, we're souls. So if education just makes us more attached to the body, that's not education, that's avidya, that's nations. But we often find that we go to college, we go to uni and study, we become more bodily conscious. And so we just simply became more ignorant. Okay, we'll go ahead. Who's there to read? Narayan Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj, I'm here.
Okay, you read. According to Bhagavad Gita.
According to the Bhagavad Gita 2.42, 7.15, mistaken mundane educators are known as Veda Vada Rata and Mayaya Parutha Jnana. They may also be atheistic demons, the lowest of men. Those who are Veda Vada Rata post themselves as very learned in the Vedic literature, but unfortunately, they are completely diverted from the purpose of the Vedas. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, it is said that the purpose of the Vedas is to know the personality of Godhead. But these Veda Vada Rata men are not at all interested in the personality of Godhead. On the contrary, they are fascinated by such fruitive results as the attainment of heaven.
Okay, so Prabhupada is quoting from the Bhagavad Gita. He talks about mistaken mundane educators, right? First of all, you have the Veda Vada Rata. Veda Vada Rata means those people who they say they know the Vedas and they may speak the Vedas, but they don't really understand the purpose of the Vedas. And so they're wrong. They're totally wrong in their understanding of the Vedic knowledge. And they don't follow the real purpose of the Vedas, but they speak and they quote the Vedas. So they're called Vedavata. And then the other mundane educator is the Maya Aparita Jnana. Maya Aparita Jnana. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes 4 kinds of people who don't surrender to him. And one of them is this Maya Aparita Jnana, means one whose knowledge, Jnana is knowledge, one whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, right? So Maya Aparita Jnana, one whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. So then Prabhupada first talks about this Vedavadarata, that they're speaking about the Vedas, but they don't know the Veda. They don't know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. But the Vedavadarata people, they are just only interested in, what are they interested in? What does it say? Nantini, Vedavadarata man, what do they want? Where do they want to go?
They are
Do
more
they want
attracted by fruitive activities.
Yeah, they want to go, and the fruitive activity, they want to go to heaven, right? They want to enjoy the heavenly opulence. No, they hear, oh, in heaven, oh, it's very opulent. Oh, the women are very beautiful there. Oh, they can live a long time. Or you can drink somaras. It's very intoxicating. You'll really enjoy. And so they want that kind of enjoyment. That's fruitive activity, right? Okay.
Maharaj,
Narayan, go on.
Maharaj,
Yes.
can I ask you one question, Maharaj? Maharaj,
Okay.
there's one so-called scholar who's now misleading using the Vedas, who always comes out in the modern age like today, like Zakir Naik. Is he one of those people, Maharaj?
I'm not familiar with the man you're speaking about.
He's the Muslim scholar. He always uses the Veda, like Bhagavad Gita and all. He quote only half the sentence and half he doesn't quote, and he always misguide the people like Maharaj.
He always what?
He used the Vedas like the Bhagavad Gita and all. He used only 2 verses, the 2 lines, and the below 2 lines he won't use, and he always quote the Bhagavad Gita to convince the other Hindus to convert into Islam.
To convert to Islam. Well,
can we consider him to be that Vedavadarata or Maya Partanyana?
Yeah, maybe Maya Aparita Jnana. Yeah, maybe. Maya Aparita Jnana, one who gives his own interpretation of the scripture. He gives his own interpretation. You see, we're not against the teachings of the Quran. You know, I know one man in Calcutta. He's an English teacher. He's a Muslim, and he wrote a book, the Bhagavad Gita and the Quran. And he says that the teachings are the same. The message which is in the Bhagavad Gita is practically almost the same as what's in the Quran. And he showed so many comparisons. He compared different parts of the Quran to the Bhagavad Gita. And so why you would want to convert? You're already following Bhagavad Gita. Why you need to go to something else? It's only one God. And so the Maya Aparita Jnana, one's knowledge is stolen by illusion. We're thinking, I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah, it's all the same thing. So somebody's giving that kind of message of Bhagavad Gita, that they're preaching like that. That's like Maya Aparita Jnana. Okay, go ahead. Narayan, as stated.
As stated in Mantra 1, we should know that the personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything, and that we must be satisfied with our own allotted portions of necessity of life. The purpose of all Vedic literature is to awaken this God consciousness in the forgetful living being. And this same purpose is presented in various ways in the different scriptures of the world for the understanding of a foolish mankind. Thus, this ultimate purpose of all religions is to bring one back to Godhead.
You see, we were just talking about this. Prabhupada saying the same thing. The same purpose is presented in various ways in the different scriptures of the world for the understanding of a foolish mankind. And so the message of the scriptures is the same, that the revealed scriptures are giving the same message, but we have to surrender to God. We should be the servant of God. We should worship God. The ultimate purpose, to bring one back home to Godhead. So there's no real conflict. We're not against. Prabhupada said God is one. Religion is also one. We make the differences. Somebody designates himself a Hindu, somebody a Muslim, somebody a Christian. It's only one God, one religion. A religion is to love God. That's the real religion, to love God. Okay, we'll go ahead. Narayan, go ahead, can you read?
But the Veda Vada Rata people, instead of realizing that the purpose of the Vedas is to revive the forgetful soul's lost relationship with the personality of Godhead, take it for granted that such side issues as the attainment of heavenly pleasure for sense gratification, the lust for which causes their material bondage in the first place, are the ultimate end of the Vedas. Such people misguide others by misinterpreting the Vedic literature. Sometimes they even condemn the Puranas, which are authentic Vedic explanation for laymen. The Veda Vadaratas give their own explanation of the Vedas, neglecting the authority of great teachers, acharyas. They also tend to raise some unscrupulous person from among themselves and present him as the leading exponent of Vedic knowledge. Such Veda Vadaratas are especially condemned in this mantra by the very appropriate Sanskrit word Vidyayam Rata. Vidyayam refers to the study of the Vedas because the Vedas are the origin of all knowledge, Vidya. And Rata means those engaged. Vidyayam Rata thus means those who engaged in the study of the Vedas. The so-called student of the Vedas are condemned herein because they are ignorant of the actual purpose of the Vedas on account of their disobeying the acharyas. Such Veda Vadaratas search out meanings in every word of the Vedas to suit their own purposes. They do not know that the Vedic literature is a collection of extraordinary books that can be understood only through the chain of disciplic succession.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Thank you. So you have to understand everything through the disciplic succession. This is very important. We just try to understand by our own knowledge. Prabhupada is describing here how these people, Veda Vadaratas, they try to give some meaning, every word, to suit their own purposes. They don't follow the real purpose of the Vedic literature. Right? The real purpose of the Vedas is to bring us back to Godhead. But they give some, they're not interested in going back to Godhead. They just want heavenly pleasure. They want to go to the higher planets. They want to enjoy the life in the heavenly planets. They're thinking that's the goal of life. So people have that, there are many people like this, they have this understanding. Chinese culture also, they always speak about heaven, going to heaven. And Christianity also, they talk about heaven, going to heaven. Of course, their idea of heaven, that they will live there forever. But the Vedas describe you go to heaven, you enjoy there for a long time, then you come back. So they misinterpret the Vedic literature. It's very hard to understand Krishna from the Vedas, but very easy to understand Krishna from the devotee. So you need the touch of the devotee, you need the help of the devotees. So these people, sometimes they even can criticize the other scriptures like the Puranas. Not only the Vedas, but the Puranas also. And they give their own meanings to everything. So in this mantra, we have the word Vidyayam Rataha, meaning those engaged in the culture of knowledge or the study of the Vedas, right? They're engaged in the study. So they're condemned. These people are condemned because they don't know the real purpose of the Vedas. They don't follow the teachers. They don't follow the acharya. They don't have the spiritual master coming in disciplic succession. So we have to hear from the proper channel. But they have their own purposes in mind. They don't understand what are the Vedas. So this is the situation. If you hear from the wrong channel, you hear from the wrong source, then certainly you cannot expect to get the right destination. Just like sometimes you ask people the way, you know, you can't just rely on one person. You ask one person, you better ask 2 more people to make sure they're right. So we want to know the right path. We have to get the proper knowledge from the proper person. Proper person is the one coming in the disciplic succession. He is heard from his teacher, and his teacher heard from his teacher, and the original teacher is Krishna. So like that, we have to get knowledge from the proper person. Okay, who would like to read next? Some Mataji?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
One
please.
must approach the bona fide spiritual master in order to understand the transcendental message of the Vedas. That is the direction of the Mugunda Upanishad 1.2.12. This Vedarada people, however, have their own acharyas who are not in the chain of transcendental succession. Thus, they progress into the darkness regions of the ignorance by misinterpreting the Vedic literature. They fall even further into the ignorance than those who have no knowledge of the Vedas at all.
Oh, you see, the people who they're studying the Vedas, but they're giving their own meaning. They have their own acharya. They say, no, we have our own teachers. We have our own disciplic succession. You see, they have it all. They have everything, but it's all wrong. It's all bogus. So, oh, it's such a problem. Difficult to preach to them. They have their disciplic succession. They have their gurus, their acharyas. They are using scriptures, but from the wrong source. So they go it's really hard to convince them. Better if they don't know anything at all. Then it's much easier to teach people. But if they know something, if they think they know something, then it's very difficult. Just like if you're a piano teacher and somebody comes to you and they can't play the piano, they never played the piano, then you may teach them quite easily. But if somebody comes and they've learned to play the piano a little from somebody else, they learn something, little things, then it's very hard to teach them because they already learned something. They already think they know something. Very hard to teach them. Better they don't know anything. When you have the blank slate, then it's easier to teach people. But if people think they know something and they've got it all wrong, it's very hard to get them back onto the right track. Okay, so we've heard about the Vedavadarata people, how they want to go to heaven, they want their sense gratification in heaven. Now we're going to hear about the Maya Aparita Jnanas. Go ahead, Mataji, the lady who was just reading. Who was it?
Kundalata.
Kundalata Mataji, please.
Yes,
Maya Aparita Jnanas.
The Maya Aparata Jnana class of men are self-made gods. Such a man think that they themselves are God and that there is worshipping any other god. They will agree to worship an ordinary man if he happen to be rich, but they will never worship the personality of goddess. Such a man, unable to recognize their own foolishness, never consider how it is that God can be interpreted by Maya, his own illusory energy. If God were ever interpreted by Maya, Maya would be more powerful than God. Such a man say that God is all powerful, but they do not consider that if he is all powerful, there is no possibility of his being overpowered by Maya. These self-made gods cannot answer all these questions very clearly. They are simply satisfied to have become God themselves.
Okay. So the Maya Aparita Jnana is being described. And Prabhupada said they're self-made gods. They make themselves into a god because they think themselves God and that there's no need. They think, I myself am God. Why I should worship some other God? If you ask them to worship Krishna or like that, well, I am myself God. Why I should go and worship him? They think like that, some people. They think we're all God. I'm God, you're God, I'm God. Yeah. Why we have, he's also God. Okay, but I'm also God. No need to worship him. They will agree to worship an ordinary man if he's rich, but they will never worship the personality of Godhead. Personality of Godhead is the most rich, but they're thinking this other man who's rich, maybe we can get his money, so we'll worship him. Such men, unable to recognize their own foolishness, never consider how God can be entrapped by Maya, his own illusory energy. Right? If everybody is God, but here we are, we're in Maya. Why don't we know we're God? They say, oh, because you're in Maya, you've forgotten that we're God. We become illusioned. So that means, if I'm supposed to be God, but I've fallen into Maya, that means Maya is more powerful than me. If I'm God, that means Maya is more powerful than God. So these kind of men, they say, yes, God is all powerful. But if he's all powerful, why is it we fell into Maya? It means Maya is more powerful. So it's so foolish because Maya is the energy of God. So the energy cannot be more powerful than the person. The God is energetic. The energy comes from him. So the Maya can't be more powerful than God himself. So these self-made gods, they cannot answer all these questions. They simply satisfied to become God. No, I am myself God. Don't argue with me, don't disturb me. So this is their thinking. Maya aparita jnanas, knowledge stolen by illusion. They're thinking we're God, but I've forgotten it. Everybody's God. I've just forgotten it. I'm in illusion. Maya is more powerful than God. So we say like that, Maya Vadis. Maya Vadi, one whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. Any questions about this mantra?
Maharaj, one question, Maharaj. Can we consider this category of people as the soul killers, Atmaha?
Yes, definitely. Soul killers, Atmaha. Yeah, they're going into darkest regions of ignorance. So they're Atmaha, This is the result. They get the fruit, the results of their own actions. As you sow, so shall you reap. You know, they sowed this, they did these things, so they have to get the reaction. They'll go into the darkest region of ignorance because they denied the existence of God. So that's how it is. You get the reaction. So we want to be very careful not to be bewildered by this kind of men, this kind of people. Maya aparita jnana. Knowledge stolen by illusion. And Vedavada rata, people who simply mouth the Vedas. They're only talking about the Vedas. They don't really know what is the real purpose behind the Vedas. So that is the problem. Okay. So, wait, should have some question. I have one question we want to look at. Okay, here's a question. Can everyone see this question? Can you see the question?
Yes,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna?
Yes,
Yeah?
Maharaj. Now we can see the question.
Yes, Maharaj, you can see.
Okay, good. I'll just make it a bit bigger. Okay, because we were talking about taking our quota, remember, from the first mantra? Mantra 1, everything belongs to God. One should accept, therefore, only those things necessary for himself. Don't take more, knowing to whom it belongs. Right? So the question is, how do we draw a line between working to keep a job and over-endeavoring? Because sometimes, you know, we have a job, we work so hard. People say, oh, I have no time to chant, I have no time to go to temple, I have no time to read, don't even have time for my family. How do we know if we are working too hard to get a quota which is not really which not really meant for us? You know, sometimes, you know, we're thinking our quota, but sometimes what we think is our quota is much more than what we actually need. You know, we have that tendency, we want to get a big share. We don't want a small quota, we want a big quota. And so we're working very hard trying to get that. Sometimes retrenchment happens for people who do not or cannot perform to meet their employees' expectations or demands. And that's a big danger, especially just now where the economy is not good, though it's very difficult to please the employers, to keep them happy, that, you know, they're trying to minimize their expenses. So if you don't work very hard, they don't want you in the company. Sometimes it's not about the extra money, but we need to keep a job. So if we are required to work harder or longer or with more intensity, we tend to oblige because we need the job to survive, right? Yeah, I mean, it's nowadays difficult. If you need a job, if you don't have a job, it's quite hard to get a job because the economy is down all over the world. So you have to you want to keep your job because you have family, you're depending on you, you know, maybe you're the breadwinner for the family. You don't want to lose a job. So you work more, harder, you try harder. You don't want to be kicked out of the job. But how do we know? What should we do? you know, sometimes you work so hard, you're so tired, and you even get a bad mood at night. You come home, you have a hard day, you come home at night, you're so tired, and oh, you know, maybe the boss has been nasty to you. So you come home at night, you're not in a good mood, and you know the children are there, and wow, you don't want to be bothered, right? So what do you think? What should we do in this situation? What's proper? Should we try to keep the job, or is it better to give up the job? Just go and live in the mountains. Go and live in the mountains, find a hut somewhere, get a little piece of land, grow some vegetables, live simply. How do we know what's our quota? What do you say? Should they work hard or should they not work hard? Should they just concentrate on being a devotee and just say, I'm sorry, I've got to go home on time, I can't work extra. No, I'm not going to work overtime, I'm going home. I'll come back tomorrow, I'll work full day, but I'm not working overtime. You have to be a little bold, right? To speak like that to the boss. And the boss may say, oh, you're not going to work overtime, then I don't need you, go and get somebody else. And you can tell the boss, you can get somebody else, but you won't get anybody to do the job as good as me. I know the job, I'm doing the job well. What do you do in this kind of situation? What's the proper thing to do? Should we sacrifice everything to keep the job? Even sacrifice your marriage, your family life? What do you think? Let me hear. What did the Mataji say?
I think it's very important to draw the line as to how much you would like to sacrifice. And if you think that you have sacrificed,
Yes.
If you think that you have sacrificed more, but your boss do not appreciate you, then it's time to look for another job.
Okay.
I think you need to draw a line to how much you would be able to sacrifice.
You mean how much in terms of endeavor in the job, yeah?
Yep.
A certain limit you have to go. But, you know, it will vary, of course, if somebody like, you know, if you have a lot of people depending on you, you know, maybe like you're taking care of your old mother and father and you have children of your own and everything, you know, isn't it a bit, don't we have to think about these things as well?
Yes, we do need to think about it. But I think if the pressure has reached its limit, then it's time to plan for a move to another job that, you know, plan towards being able to sustain and as well being able to do spiritual work as well as, you know, you have to balance all of it, you have to plan ahead.
Well, is it possible to get other jobs at this time, you know, at a particular time? You know, sometimes it's hard to get jobs, very competitive. So many people are looking for jobs at this time, that, you know, because the whole economy is down, everything's been stagnant for some time, tourism is all stopped, many hotels have closed, and there's no events taking place in the hotels, no meetings or anything going on. So, you know, it's really, it's not very encouraging situation. Are you sure you would just give up the job and go off and maybe find another job? Hare Krishna. Anybody there?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, can I try Maharaj?
Yeah, please. I want to hear from you.
Maharaj, maybe we should know how to balance our spiritual life and the material life. Okay, and then depend on Krishna and pray that our work problems is getting solved, because it's not easy to get another job at the moment. Actually, I'm going through that problem now.
You're looking for a job.
No, I'm not looking for the job. I'm trying to balance the work and the spiritual life as much as I can.
Yeah, you're trying to balance right now. Okay,
Yeah.
you have a job, you want to balance with your spiritual life. Yeah. Yeah, it's really difficult for everyone, I think, at this time especially. It's really not easy to know what to do and how to balance the two. But on one side, you know, you want to have a spiritual life, you want to be able to chant and spend some time hearing and so on. But at the same time, you have demands on you in the job. You know, maybe working in a factory or something, it's difficult.
Yeah, when we change job also don't know whether that job will be suitable for our spiritual life or not. So we better, at the moment, better stick to the job and try to balance and move on with their life.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna devotees, I think Maharaj will be back soon. So please prepare your responses so they can participate in Maharaj's question. Thank you.
To try to get to keep the job also. And we definitely want to have a job at this time. Well, at any time, you know, people need work. They need to be able to support themselves. So it's a great challenge to know what to do. But sometimes some employees are, the bosses are not easy to please, and their demands can be
Hare Krishna Maharaj, we can't hear you Maharaj.
okay. So. Of course, in this kind of situation, it's going to be different for different people. Everyone has to make their own decision about what is actually the right thing to do in such a case. You have to decide, really. No, we can't really dictate that, oh, you should do this, or you should do that. It's not the same for everyone. And sometimes even you may work very hard in the job and you still may get retrenched. You still may lose the job, even though you've sacrificed, you've worked so hard and everything. So on top of everything, you know, there's the destiny has its own hand. That even though we may sacrifice everything, working so hard, trying to do everything to please, and still you may lose the job. You may not be able to keep it. So we have to consider our own personal situation. What is the situation? How much you are dependent? How much you're required to maintain the job? How easy it is for us to give it up? How flexible are we? But the quota should be something which is easily obtained without too much effort. That is the idea. What our quota is something which comes without too much excessive endeavor on our part. If we have to sacrifice our good qualities, if we have to sacrifice all of our time and so on, then we have to consider maybe it's not worth it. And it may mean changing our standard of living, simplifying our lifestyle a bit, but in the long run, it's worth it. That you can be happier, you can be less stressed, you can have more time with your family, you can have a better home life. All the endeavors which we take for working hard in the offices and trying to get just to earn money there, that's not really what life is all about, right? There's a spiritual aspect to life also, and that's the important part, not just sense gratification. Okay? Any comments? Anybody? No? Okay. So we'll come back to the devotees. So what did we talk about today? We spoke about Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
Yes,
No?
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, are you able to hear us?
I think he's not able to hear us.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
The sloka was saying that avidya is more dangerous, or rather vidya can be more dangerous than avidya. Vidya, cultivating knowledge, can be more if it's not properly used, if people are not properly guided in how to use that knowledge. That is the problem, that people are not properly educated to understand how to, just like if you give children some gun to play with, if it's a real gun, then it's very dangerous to give it to children. So the same way, you give real knowledge into the hands of the wrong people, it's very dangerous. The knowledge may be good, but in the hands of the wrong people can be very dangerous. So it's described like the jewel on the head of the cobra. It's more dangerous. Cobra is dangerous, but when there's a jewel on its head, it's more dangerous. So this so-called advancement of education is the danger, very dangerous thing. And we can see with things like mobile phones, how people use them. Are they good things? Mobile phones? You know, some ways it's okay, but a lot of people use them for so many bad things. Yeah, there's so much pornography, there's so much computer games, so many things just to waste people's time, to waste their lives, because people don't know how to properly use the knowledge. So that is the point of the verse. And so we were given two kinds of people, particularly the Maya Aparita Jnana, meaning one whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and they think they become themselves gods. They're like self-made gods, and they want to control, they want to understand everything by their own intelligence. They themselves want to be the god. And then the Vedavadarata, who may speak from the Vedas, he quotes the Vedas, but his interest is just simply to go to heaven. He doesn't understand the real purpose behind the Vedas. So like that, we spoke about these two kinds of people. Okay, so we will stop here tonight. Hare Krishna.